Hello guys, and welcome to our new episode and our new project. Here we are with our 80 series Landcruiser, and as you can see, we've already started pulling it apart. Hang on a second, I got some spider webs on me. And we already started pulling it apart. Well, George did, so we're putting George to work. This is his car and he's very much looking forward to it. So I'm not going to bore you guys with pulling this stuff out. We're not going to focus on that. George started pulling all the accessories off to get ready to take the engine out, and then we remembered, let's do a compression test before we take it out, just so we can gauge the conditions of the motor before we rebuild it. Not that it really matters, but it'll make a good comparison before and after, right? So we're going to go ahead and do the compression test. We're just finding out now. George is doing a bit of a search to see what it was from factory and what it's now after 400 and something thousand Ks, right? So it'll be good to know. Be good to know before we pull it apart. So yeah, guys. All right. So when I yell stop, just stop. Okay. Ready, go. Okay. Okay. Ready? Yep. Go. Yep. All right, number 3. Go. Yep. Ready? Yep. Go. All right, this one has a bit of an issue, I think. No, just shy, let's say 150.
150?
Yeah.
A bit low.
And it sounded a bit funny, that one. Like compression is escaping through somewhere else. We'll come back to that one. We'll come back to after we do the others.
What number was that, 4?
4. Okay, ready?
Yep.
Go. Yep. Okay, go. All right, go. Okay. No, 155. That's number 4. All right, guys, so there you have it. Compression ratio done. Well, not compression ratio, compression test done. So yeah, so it looks like there might be something going on with cylinder number 4 and a little bit on number 6. It was actually a good test not having the exhaust manifold in place, because I could hear a difference. And I think that might be pointing towards the exhaust valves leaking. So yep, that's done. Now we'll move on to getting the rest of the accessories off and getting this engine out. Honestly, I am in holiday mode already, but we're going to push through. I only got a little bit left of today and maybe tomorrow, and then I am off on holidays. So we'll see if we can get this off before then, before we call it a year, and then we're back straight onto it. All right, guys. This part here took me quite a while to find the correct size bolts, because the factory bell housing, they're too short. So as you can see, this mounting bracket for the engine stand has a long snout. That's to provide clearance for the crankshaft, and in the cases where maybe the flywheel is kept in place. So we had to search around for some long bolts, and not just any bolt, but we needed to make sure that we could grab enough thread on the block that it wouldn't strip the threads as soon as we would let it hold on its own weight. It is an extremely heavy engine, probably the heaviest one that I've had to work with. But as you can see here, how much it's flexing down. Hello guys, we are back from the holidays. So here we have a bare engine block. So I've left George with the task of stripping it all down, and he's done a great job. So here we are now. Oh, check out the shirt, guys. Brand new shirts. I've made it. It is a sign that you've made it, right? No need to subscribe. It is done. Nah, just kidding. Guys, we are trying to get, as you know, it's hard. It's hard. You know, this is a brand new channel, and we want to get to our first 100 subscribers. Let's hit the 100. Let's fix that problem. When we get to the 100, we'll see how we get to the next one. So, guys, check that out. Get your phones out. Have a look at that. That'll do a loop. You'll scan it, and it'll bring you right back here. All right, so here we are. So even though there was no sign that we needed to rebuild this motor, we thought it would be the smart thing to do, since we are going to be turbocharging it, and we want to extract double or 3 times the horsepower that it had. So it was just the smart thing to do. There was no signs that this engine needed to be rebuilt. It wasn't blowing any smoke, wasn't making any funny noises, but it was the right choice. So now, since we've got it all down to nothing, we've actually found a couple of problems. Now, as you saw earlier on during the compression test, we did find a couple of cylinders that were a little bit lower on compression, and I suspect that it was possibly the cylinder head, maybe leaking valves. That is yet to be confirmed once we get the cylinder head inspected. As far as the engine block, there was one bearing that had on the main journal that was showing a little bit more of an excessive wear, and it also showed signs that it had overheated because it had lost its tension. It was no longer holding itself tight on the crankcase. So it's probably a good thing that we are rebuilding the motor. So yeah, so this is where we're at now. I'm doing a hone on one cylinder just because there are some marks here that I'll show you guys in a second. If we can get rid of these marks with the honer, then I'm happy to continue with the rest and get a brand new set of pistons, standard size, and continue with the rebuild. If we can't get rid of it with the honer, it is very light. Like honestly, you can hardly feel it with your nail. It's very light. But if we can't do it, then we're going to go one step oversized with new pistons, and that's it. This is where we're at, guys. So I'm going to do this 2 ways. I'm going to do an episode where we sort of just rush through this episode. If you don't wanna, if you're not interested in seeing how an engine is rebuilt, and we can continue on with the build, with the turbocharger fabrication, the wiring and tuning and so on. But if you're interested in learning or knowing what tools you need and the process and the things that are important, in this case, I want to discuss 3 important key points on rebuilding an engine. If you're interested in that, then just have a look, subscribe, because you'll get the notification for when that episode comes out. But it's going to be an intensive episode on just rebuilding this motor. I will be discussing everything. Okay, so your clearances, torque settings, and orientation of components and so on. It's gonna be heavy. So yeah, guys, I will show you guys what I'm doing here now, and then we'll move on. All right guys, so we've made the decision to go with the oversize. So I tried, I mean there's only so much you can hone one cylinder. So you can still see the mark on the cylinder, even though I can't feel it with my nail, which is it's the best way to check for any imperfections in the cylinder. You can't feel much by just running your finger, but if you put your nail in there, any little imperfection you should be able to feel it. And although I can't feel it, I can still see it. And if I can see it, it means that the stone on the honer is not coming in contact with it, it's not getting rid of it. So that means that there's still a low spot in the cylinder. And because we're going through all this effort to do all this work, we didn't want to risk it, we don't want to take any shortcuts. We want to be happy with it once it's running. I don't want to have anything in the back of my mind, oh, we should have done this, we should have done that. So we've ordered 20 thou oversized pistons, 0.5 of a mil. And so we're going to wait for them to come in, and then we're going to send the whole lot to the machine shop to get it bored out. So we're going to end up with brand new cylinders, brand new pistons, and we're going to deck the surface of the block as well, give it all a clean, and we'll pretty it up. So yeah, so that's where we're at. I'll show you quickly what was left of that mark. So I'll see if I can split it out. So you can just see it here, it goes down, comes up, and there's a very slight mark there. There's also these marks there. That's where the top ring, that's as high as the top ring goes. So there's still a slight mark there. So yeah, like I said, we're gonna go oversize and that'll fix that issue. So guys, if you want to see more episodes like this and like the BMW, make sure you hit that like and subscribe. Help us to get to 500 subscribers, and then we'll see how we move forward from there. But yeah guys, if you're enjoying this, make sure you hit that like and subscribe.